Liberal Party of Canada voters must be just about the most gullible political supporters on the face of the planet. Every time an election rolls around, they let their leaders fearmonger. They let their leaders talk about how, if you elect the Conservatives, they'll have a secret agenda to privatize healthcare. They'll have a secret agenda to outlaw abortion. They'll have a secret agenda to curtail the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You can't. It's too scary. You can't vote for those people because you never know when they're going to take your rights away. I mean, this from a party that in 2022 suspended civil rights for all Canadians because there were truckers in downtown Ottawa honking their horns for 3 weeks. They seized bank accounts for people who had the temerity to speak out in favor of the convoy. And yet somehow the Conservatives would be a bigger threat to civil rights than the Liberal Party. The epitome of this was last Thursday in Winnipeg when the Prime Minister gave a speech to a fundraising dinner where people had paid nearly $2,000 a plate to attend. And he subjected them to a harangue about exactly the things I'm talking about. If you follow Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, he's going to take away abortion rights. If you follow them, you're going to take away transgender rights. They're going to suspend the Charter. Oh, my goodness. Now, I think Trudeau actually believes those things, and I think an awful lot of Liberals actually believe them too, because they are not deep thinkers. They don't do a lot of critical thinking. They're easily herded into the scaremongering truck. But it's really early in the political cycle for a party to be doing this. That shows you how desperate the Liberals must be. In most polls, the Liberals are now 20 percentage points behind the Conservatives. That's an enormous gap. Pierre Poilievre is not particularly popular. His negatives outweigh his positives by 12 points. Jagmeet Singh's negatives outweigh his positives by 14 points. But Justin Trudeau's negatives are 38 points ahead of his positives. He is the least popular Prime Minister in modern Canadian history. And with good reason. He's run this country into the ground. Our standard of living in Canada now is lower than it has been in 40 years. One of the things that Trudeau said in his Winnipeg speech was, my goodness. My goodness. If you support the Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre, you're going to find housing is even more unaffordable than it is now. How in heaven's name can they say that? Since they came to power in 2015, house prices and rents have doubled in Canada. The national debt has doubled. Income has fallen about $300 a month short of where it should be. It is now about 1/3 below where incomes are in the United States. The Trudeau government is economically illiterate. It has run the country's economy into the ground. It has said, for instance, and one of my favorite examples is liquid natural gas, LNG. You've heard Trudeau say it many times. There's no business case for exporting Canada's LNG. Well, since he came to power in 2015, the Americans have built more than 20 LNG export facilities. We are close to finishing our first, but we still have built none under the Liberals. Does he really want us to believe that the Americans are too dumb to see that there's no business case for LNG? That's the way they think. They are so caught up in their woke causes like climate change that they cannot run a modern economy. Yet, time and again, Liberal voters have allowed themselves to be scared into staying with the Liberals. But it's interesting now that 17 months away from an election, they're already using their scare tactics. I think that's a sign of just how desperate the Liberals are. For Post Media, I'm Lauren Gunter.